little boys' room, so I wouldn't disturb y'all, because the guy that just called me is a dear friend of mine, Dr. George Gillum, and he called me and he said, Jay said, I'm going to have my son call you. He said, can you just give him some things, direct him, so he's going to Churchill Downs tomorrow, and I don't know how to tell him to bet on horses, and you can. I said, yeah. So I was in, Lee came in there, so I think I was on instruction number 7 or something. Telling John what you got to do if you're going to try to bet on thoroughbred racehorse. I said, oh, no, I got a lot of time. So anyway, so that's why I had to step out for a moment. Let me stay on the card activity and all that stuff just a moment, because we've talked about that. And what he says is, like he said, the Reverend, he said, do you know anybody in your family that perhaps doesn't have insurance, blah, blah, blah. That's a good one too. Y'all watch this and look around you. How many people in this room know anybody with diabetes? Raise your hands. It's everybody. See, that's what I know for a fact. I'd have bet that. There wasn't going to be 2 of you that wasn't going to raise your hand. So here's what I do on that. I don't know him at all. I'm standing beside him at an airport. I got a choice. I can either say, hey, buddy, do you take any prescription drugs? That's probably a turnoff. Yeah. Okay? So I ain't going to do that one. And I've invaded his space. That's a bad move. But I might say this. I might say, how you doing, sir? That's nice. I would say, I'll ask you a question. I got a gift for you if you know anybody with it. Do you know anybody with diabetes? Answer is yes. Would you give them that card? That's a free thing for them. And if they will use that, they can save so much money on diabetic medicines and diabetic paraphernalia. They have them shots and everything they have to do. And now watch what I'm going to do. See, I'm not in his space right now. I kind of reached out to give him that. I got to get closer to him. And so I'm going to say, and let me show you, see right there I've got a right to come closer. I'm going to point to something. You see that website down there on the bottom right there? Now, I don't know if they would know how to use a computer, but perhaps you could help them or find somebody. But if they'll just go on that website right there, when the first page comes up, over here on the left-hand side is a bunch of stuff how you can save money with that card. That card's free to them, never costs them a thing. They don't have to activate it. And that's my telephone. By the way, I'm Dr. J. Ross. What's your name? Mel. Hey, it's good to meet you, Mel. And give this back. I now met him. Now I can talk to him. We're getting to be buddies, and we're standing by each other in an airport. Okay? And I'm saying that if they'll go to that provision site right there and get them to click on that where it says diabetic stuff, look in there. They know what they're paying for this stuff, Melvin. And compare the prices. And gosh, if that saves them money, have them get it through that, because that'll help them a lot. And in fact, if you know anybody with just takes prescription drugs, this thing saves up to 75% on most prescription drugs in all these major drugstores. $54,000. That's a heck of a card there. And I don't know, you might even take a drug or two. Do you take any prescription? I can now ask him that question. We're friends. We know each other's names. Okay? He said, I sure do. Hey, you take one too. Let me give you a card too for yourself. And I'll give him a card. I just give away 2 of my 10 this month. Hello. And then I would say, so you make sure that diabetic that you know, and you know any other diabetics? Half the time he'll know a handful. I'm going to give him a card for every one of them. So what am I doing to him right now? I'm teaching him to give away cards. Right. I'm already teaching him one of our 2 jobs, to give away free cards. Right. And he's doing it. Let me have 4 more. Okay, we got a deal going on here. And so I'm teaching him all that. Now in a few minutes, I'm going to say, and you know what? I'm not sure you'd even be interested in this. But I tell them who you are, what you do. Establish the thing. So I say, I'm a doctor and I do all that kind of stuff. But you know what? I've been giving these cards out for the last year and a half. And this company pays me handsomely for giving those doggone things out. So if you know anybody who might like to make a couple extra dollars by doing that, and they don't have to quit their day job, call me. There's my telephone number right there. And you might even listen to that number right there, because that kind of tells you about this. What a nicest thing I've just done. Mm-hmm. I leave friends. Belle, it's good to meet you. You call me, and I got a buddy in an airport, total stranger. And what was the lead question? Do you know anybody that has diabetes? Right. And if I'd asked every one of you strangers that question today, every one of you would have said yes. And I got a new buddy right here. I got all of you, my buddies. Isn't that cool? That's a tremendous question to ask, and we do save diabetics so much you can't imagine. Okay, nice way to give away cards. Because that's what we're trying to do, is giveaway cards. And what Mike was saying, how do you get in there to know them? How do you do it? Well, you sure don't say, hey, buddy, did you take any drugs? You don't say that. Okay? You do something smarter than that. Okay. So that's why I give away cards. My lead question to almost everybody is, you know anybody got diabetes? I want you to give them a gift. Well, they're cool. And they'll be nice. And they're going to get to give the gift. I'm just going to give it to them. Okay. So, and giving away cards, back to what Roger said about giving those 12 and 12 and 12. That's wonderful. They're calling and saying, let's have them. If you don't spend a little time to tell that person how to do what I'm getting ready to tell you, then those people might not get to use the card too good, because he had a card, somebody gave a card, and the druggist said, oh no, you got insurance, you don't need that. Wrong, Charlie. What did he have? He had a drugstore worker who was lazy, too busy, didn't want to run it. Now, did she have any knowledge, or he have any knowledge that it wasn't good? Lord, no. If we win 68% of the time with people who have insurance, who said that kid wasn't in the 68%? Who said he was in the 32%? That little girl behind the counter who didn't want to take the time to run the number? You got a lazy kid on your hands, okay? Let me tell you another example. So, what do? If you know beyond the shadow of a doubt that drugstore is contracted with Paramount and IAB to run that card, you make them run the card. Right. And you got to tell the people, say, honey, don't you take that answer for an answer. That's not an answer. We're contracted with these drugstores. They have to run the card. And what you want to find out is, do you save money with our cards free or not? You got a right to find that out every time. You do not have to listen to some druggist. So we had a person there in Bowling Green, Kentucky, who went into a CVS store. CVS, right there. CVS store. Tried to use the card. The lesser pharmacist said, nah, we don't take that. He said, yeah, you do. Said, no, we don't here. Don't you did everywhere? No, we don't. I think you do. Have you got a boss? Well, I mean, that pharmacist is the senior pharmacist. Can I talk to him? Here comes the senior pharmacist. So what's the problem? Well, he won't take my discount card. I want you to tell him. Now we don't use that here. Yeah, it says right there. Well, I'm telling you, we don't take that here. So then he said, well, have you got a boss? You own this store? I don't own this store. My boss is in Louisville. Kind of smart aleck. My boss is in Louisville. Who's that? Well, the regional manager of CVS over Kentucky. Have you got that person's name? What for? I'm calling him. Yeah, give him the name. It was a girl. He gave Gary the name and the telephone number, and Gary left. Called the telephone number. It was a girl. Yes, sir, can I help you? Blah, blah, blah. He told him the whole story. She said, no, I've never heard of that. Now, this is the regional manager of CVS over Western Kentucky. Never heard of that. He said, well, yes, ma'am, that's what's going on here. Y'all are. She said, now give me all this information. So he told them all about Provision RX and blah, blah, blah. And she said, I'll get back with you. A week later, she called Gary West and said, Mr. West, I'm so sorry. I apologize. Yes, we accept that card. And she said, I didn't know. I'm so sorry. And she said, I have now called every one of my stores in Western Kentucky and told them, absolutely, we take that card. She said, I'm sorry. You just feel free to go to that. Next time he took that, hey, all them pharmacists took the card. Now, what's going on there? Why did that happen? Well, here's why it happened. Do y'all think that a millionaire owns CVS or a billionaire? Say billion.
Right.
Okay. Well, and you think that a billionaire is the guy that's running these drug companies and Paramount? Answers yes. That's who's making these deals. It's not the people in the drugstore. It's not that little girl that said, we don't take a card. It's not that smart answer saying, you got insurance, you don't need this. She doesn't know what we're doing. Okay? It's these big dogs that are setting these things up, and then it trickles down to 54,000 drugstores. But they didn't tell Tara. She's on the night shift, you know. And so all of a sudden, somebody comes in with a card. Hello, I know nothing about this, so what I do is say, nah, there ain't nothing here. Oh, I've seen lots of them, blah, blah. Okay? You're going to run into this, and you're going to have to help your people know what to do instead of saying, oh, I'm so sorry, I didn't try it, excuse me. That's not the way we do this. We help them know, they stand the ground, and here's what we tell them. If you have any problems using our card, you call me. That's my telephone number. I'll take care of it.